Hi there, welcome to I Lone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Cancer energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because not everybody harnesses their Cancer energy in the same way. Some people are motivated and inspired by love, but other people, whether they're a Cancer sun sign or not, we all tap into Cancer energy, which is about how we emotionally feel about ourselves and our home and our relationships and people we get in connection with. And some people are more love the world, love themselves, love indulging their fear or their insecurity or their pride or their ego. And we've all got our shadowy nature that keeps us from loving ourselves, believing in ourselves, being balanced within ourselves, being able to give and receive love with others. So there can be all these things that emotionally manipulate us. And some people are still emotionally being manipulated by the things that keep them from loving and believing in themselves. And it causes them not to treat other people the way they like to be treated, or, keeps them acting kind of in maybe emotion in ways that can seem emotionally manipulative because they're fearful or they're insecure. So if you're a person who harnesses high vibe Cancer energy, you'd maybe like to be in a relationship with someone else who does. But it's just to see the truth that not everybody does. We've all got lessons to learn in life. Some people have healed and grown and matured more than other people have healed and grown and matured and know how to play nicely with others. And some people still have some issues they need to deal with. So it's just to see the truth, because in high vibe energy, the truth sets us free to not get caught up in illusion and to just see the truth for what it is so we can keep moving forward to find the people that we are on the same page with. Okay, apparently no other cards want to come out. So let's go see what's going on in Cancer energy. The Knight of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Empress energy. And the reason these came out is because of the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands can talk about being inspired to get to the truth, wanting to give birth to new things, wanting justice and fairness and balance and loving, nurturing, to feel that energy within yourself, and then to be in relationships with other people who are motivated and inspired by those same things. So I think the high vibe people have done this work within themselves, because the Ten of Wands is Sagittarius energy. And in high vibe energy, it means you are motivated and inspired to kind of wrap your brain around this game of life. Life is an adventure to be lived. We're meant to enjoy ourselves here, but we need to learn how to love ourselves, how to love others. And some people have known some people who might harness these energies in a more worldly or more shadowy way, not motivated by love, not motivated and inspired to see the truth. We'll all repeat an old pattern of way of living life because that is our truth at that point in time. And some people don't want to live life differently. They don't want to step out of their comfort zone. Maybe it would require them to speak their truth, and they don't want to speak the truth and cut out the things that they need to cut out in their life to go with the flow. Shadowy Sagittarius can be people who are kind of overwhelmed, but they still don't want to see the truth. Oh, was I supposed to go with the flow and love myself and put in work and effort to love myself, to get myself more balanced instead of being tipped out of balance and maybe making my life about being defensive? I want to keep moving forward. I'm overwhelmed. I'm defensive, but I don't want to deal with the truth of why I'm overwhelmed. So I want to keep moving forward, being defensive, and maybe harnessing this energy in a shadowy way, which emotionally can be where people are more motivated and inspired. Their truth is the world, money, materialism, status, ego, and image, or they're more about themselves and looking for people who will maybe indulge them in their defensiveness and maybe their more immature ways of being. Some people view themselves as like a loving person, but the only people they want to be in a relationship with is people who are defensive and overwhelmed. Oh, you're my kind of person. Yep. you move forward with me, you view me as loving, look to me as a loving person. But if you ever do this work within yourself to get yourself balanced and stable and standing up for yourself, oh, well, then I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. you know, some people like to present themselves as harnessing high vibe energy. I'm this just, fair, loving family person. You should move forward in a relationship with me or stay at this job, stay in this friendship. But I only want to stay in the relationship with you if you're kind of like codependent, overwhelmed, defensive, fearful of thinking you can manifest your dreams to come into reality. I want you to look to me like I'm your God. I don't want you to listen to your intuition. I don't want you to heal and love and believe in yourself. I don't want to be in an equal relationship. I like it when people put me on a pedestal. And if I get in a relationship with you when you could have been overwhelmed, defensive, and looking for someone to love you, I'm your person. But if you start to love yourself and see the truth that this is how I like to be in a relationship and you want a more balanced, loving relationship, well, then I'm going to leave. Because now you're not like codependent on me. High vibe people don't want to be in codependent relationships where like you're the parent and I'm the child, you're the teacher, I'm the student. We can all get in those type of relationships because some people do have some traits and characteristics about them and everything, and we, in a lot of ways, we could have some commonalities, similar pain, heartbreak, life experience, ways of viewing life. But then as we move forward with them in a relationship, we kind of realize that they kind of like to be indulged. Shadowy Libra. So some people are harnessing high vibe Cancer energy, high vibe Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, Taurus. Some other people could harness more worldly or shadowy Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, Taurus. We're either more about justice and fairness and truth and love and want to free ourselves from the things that manipulate us, and some people don't want to free themselves from the things that manipulate them or their viewpoint of life or how they view relationships, how they like to be in relationships. But in a more shadowy viewpoint, it is, I want to be codependent, or I want someone else to be codependent on me. I'm more driven and motivated by the world and ego and image. I'm, what's their truth? Some people are really motivated and inspired to keep moving forward, either being an indulged person in a relationship where the scales of justice should be tipped in their favor for some reason they think, or they're really driven and motivated by someone indulging them in their kind of more immature defensive nature. I want you to be just and fair and loving. I want to be defensive. I get to be defensive. You be loving and nurturing to me. That works for me. And eventually the loving people are like, but are you ever going to get out of your defensiveness to be more loving so I can be in a relationship with someone who's not being manipulated by their fear or their insecurity or their defensiveness, to have an equal give and take? And sometimes we get in relationships with people like that, and eventually we tell them, I'm overwhelmed. I can't keep moving forward. We can offer people love and encouragement. This is like trying to communicate from a place of love, truth, trying to motivate and inspire other people to work through whatever it is that overwhelms them. Why are you so consumed with the world or money and materialism? Why do you feel like you have to be the indulged person? Why do you feel that you get to stay kind of immature and other people are supposed to keep indulging you in your more defensive, immature ways of being? Eventually, the high vibe people want to be in relationships with people who are on the same page as them. Some of you have already moved on from some people who are like that in your life. And then you could have communicated to some people in your life that, I'm moving forward in this way. Are you someone who's motivated and inspired to move forward in this way with me? Have you done the work within yourself to get balance within yourself, to love yourself, to heal, to grow, to mature so that you can be in an emotionally mature, just, fair, loving relationship? Nine of Cups in reverse, and it came out because of the Strength card. We all have gone through phases of life where we're kind of about indulging ourselves in things of the world, thinking those things of the world will make me happy. Isn't it about kind of thinking life's an adventure for me to go indulge in all these things, and I want to, you know, shadowy Empress energy, the feminine figures in tarot can talk about how we think and feel. When we haven't learned to love ourselves and we haven't healed and grown and matured, we can be a loving kind of person maybe, but we're still kind of looking outside of ourselves, because more codependent, shadowy energy is about being more codependent, and we're still sure that if it's lays outside of us is the answer for our problems. I need to get in a relationship. I need to, indulge in this and this and this, and I'm sure that will make me happy. And some people have seen the truth. The things of the world are meant to be enjoyed, but to invest in those things as a substitute for me learning to love myself, that's not the truth. And sometimes we do look to those things of the world because we haven't learned to love ourselves. So we're going to overindulge in certain things because we think that's the ticket. That's what's going to make me feel better. And sometimes it's getting in romantic relationships because we're kind of in that codependent energy. Like, I need to work with someone to bring, to make me feel loved, to, people previously could have been repeating a pattern, because we'll all repeat patterns until we see the truth of it. Some people could have been a very loving people, and the pattern they kept repeating was trying to motivate and inspire people who weren't on the same page as them. That's, or they like to do that themselves with other people also. You could kind of view it as kind of like an egotistical thing. Why am I chasing after people who aren't on the same page as me? It makes me feel loving. Makes me, I can convince them to love and believe in themselves and grow up and mature themselves. And I'm so loving and nurturing, they're going to choose love. Why are we chasing after people who've already shown us, probably by the way they live their life, that that's not the energy they're in? Why are we trying to convince other people to choose love? Why not go defend our loving nature? And like, I might be attracted to people. The wands can talk about being attracted to people. I have things I want to give birth to also in the world emotionally. But why would I chase after people? That can be our God savior complex, which is kind of egotistical. I should accept that people are where they're at. They're the reason they live their life the way they live it, based on their life experiences. And if they're not someone who seems kind of more emotionally balanced and stable and grounded and loving and inspired, I should instead be protecting my nature from people who don't seem to be on the same page. I wish them peace and joy, but I'm not going to get in a relationship with you. Even though I might be attracted to you, I'm not going to, because I need to be in a relationship with people who are on the same page. And that's what some high vibe people are saying. I am moving forward because I'm done with feeling overwhelmed by people who aren't on the same page as me. And I'm going to give birth to trying to invest my time, energy, and effort into people who are on the same page as me. And I don't want to repeat this pattern of chasing after people who aren't on the same page as me to try to get them to choose love. I mean, that be someone who harnesses his energies in a shadowy way, who's also trying to get people who are more motivated by justice and fairness and love in a relationship to get them to come do life the way they want. I want to live my life more this way, and you should stay in the relationship with me because we could look like we have all these things of the world. Why aren't you willing to stay in a relationship with me because of that? And I could be attracted to you. It's like, because we operate from what we're motivated and inspired by are different things. And they too, if they're more motivated by, the world, ego, image, they should go get in a relationship with someone who is very much all 10 wands are in favor of living my life like that. So again, we live in a world of duality. There's some people where, we all want stability and security and enjoy some of the finer things in life, but it's more definitely all tipped in favor of being more motivated and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness. And other people are tipped because of duality. We have to have contrast, kind of equal contrast exist in the world. People have to have free will choice. Opposite contrast has to exist in the world for people to make decisions. And then there's other people in the world who are all kind of in on the world or themselves and being indulged, one way or the it's either money or ego or indulgence or fear, insecurity, things like that. And both types of people could be realizing that the people who harness this energy differently than them aren't willing, like the Nine of Cups upright can be, I would find that emotionally fulfilling. I think I can have my dreams come into reality with this person. The things that I find emotionally fulfilling versus what they find emotionally fulfilling. And realizing, there comes a point in time where the high vibe people aren't willing to indulge the people who aren't willing to be just and fair and like authentic and loving. And the people more motivated by the world or themselves aren't willing to, you know, change their wish and dream, because the Nine of Cups is about like our wish and dreams. I don't find the way you want to live your life emotionally fulfilling because I could get hurt doing that. And somewhere along the way, I decided I wasn't going to do love. I'm more motivated by being defensive and just indulging myself in a relationship or making my life about money and materialism. I'm sure that'll make me happy. And it's like what people find emotionally fulfilling is different. Why? Some people are operating from their more egoic nature in their Leo energy. Other people have kind of realized they could have already lived their life like that. I've already indulged in those things of the world, thinking those things would make me happy. And I realize just indulging in those things to think that that's good enough isn't enough. I don't find it emotionally fulfilling to operate from my more worldly egoic nature. I'm motivated to free myself from my more worldly egoic nature. And I've tempered my egoic nature, my fears, my insecurities, my self limiting beliefs, my codependent nature, my fearful nature, my worldly nature, making my life all about the world. It's kind of like high vibe energy represented by God, shadowy energy represented by the devil. The devil in the worldly nature is like trying to make us think that the things of the world are the only thing we have to deal with and is the most important thing. And if we invest in those things, we'll be happy. And high vibe energy, which is more like creativity, imagination, hope, faith, and belief, because the world can be about doing things the same way we've always done it, and is kind of lacking that hope and faith and belief that we can do things differently. We can take the things that we've learned and the lessons that we've learned, take the good things that we've learned from, say, living in the year 1980. And then we say, I think there's different ways we can go about this because it's time for change. And so then we put our own creative spin on it. And then people quit living like they're in the 1980s and they start living like they're in the 1990s. But there's always going to be people who refuse to go with the flow. I want to keep moving forward like this. I think this is the way to move forward. I'm overwhelmed about giving birth to anything new, because I'd have to let go of the things that I might find emotionally fulfilling and a way of viewing life. And I'm kind of in my ego about it. We can all have people in our life that are more bold and brave and courageous than us and more willing to do things that we're not ready to do. And we all are on kind of our own journey in life of when we're ready to move forward in life differently. But we have to acknowledge that at some people don't want to change, either because of their fear or their defensiveness, and sometimes they have a way of viewing life in a way of how they like to operate in workplaces, in friendships, in romantic relationships, that they don't want to change because they like the way it is. And odds are the reason why they like the way it is because somehow it benefits them. The scales are a little more tipped in their favor. And then other people are like, well, I don't find it emotionally fulfilling to have to keep doing things the way that you like because it kind of benefits you, I'm realizing. And I want things to change. I want it to be more just and fair. Everybody should temper their pride, their ego, their fears, their insecurities, where people aren't having to indulge them in their ego or their fear or their insecurity or their self centeredness or their unwillingness to change. And some of the people who are unwilling to change are seeing that the other people aren't willing to indulge them anymore. And some of those people are saying, fine, I'll go find someone else. I'll hire someone else. I'll go get in a different friendship or relationship. And the people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in, that things need to change, those people are looking to the future. And the sevens can talk about kind of tipping more into wanting to get the justice they deserve, because the Four of Swords is Libra energy represented by the scales of justice. And it can be confusing. Why aren't people in our life that we viewed as loving people, why aren't they working together with us like cooperatively? Why are they not willing to put in the work and effort to work through their fears and their insecurities or their self-limiting beliefs or their more bossy and controlling ways? Or why is the ego and the image just so consuming in their life, like an addiction? And it's confusing. But instead of continuing to keep repeating this old pattern of continuing to try to maybe work with people and keep trying to motivate and inspire them, Leo energy is of the strength card is also represented by the sun card, which is, I got to deal with the truth of the situation. That if people were motivated to temper their fears, their insecurities, their ego, their more worldly nature, their addictions or something, that's something they have to choose free willingly within themselves. And I need to be illuminated to the truth that they're happy living their life the way they live it for whatever reason. Some people, even if they were to have addictions or they're defensive or they're self-centered, does that mean I don't have to change and I can use these things as my excuse to why I don't change and step out of my comfort zone? I don't have to learn to love and believe in myself and offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness. I can say I'm manipulated by all these things so then I don't have to do any of that work to temper my fears or my ego or my insecurities, and I don't have to do things differently. Perfect. They might keep staying overwhelmed, but so long as it means they can kind of keep maybe not having to listen to their intuition or become more emotionally independent of whatever manipulates them, then they're okay. That's just where they're at right now. It might not be wish fulfillment, but I can keep not, because the Nine of Cups being Pisces energy could be like listening to your intuition. And some people live more from their mind than their heart. No, no, no. Again, we keep repeating a pattern, even though our intuition is saying this isn't a dream come true. This really isn't emotionally fulfilling. You are being immature, you are being defensive, you are being prideful and egotistical. But the alternative is for people to temper their ego, and some people are very egotistical, unwilling to admit that maybe they do. When a card's in reverse, it can talk about extremes, and the Nine of Cups can talk about kind of indulgence. Some people are like, but I don't want to quit indulging in what I indulge in. I still think that is the answer. It isn't about me having to love myself, me having to grow up and mature myself, me having to get out of my ego, no, or my fear or my insecurity. No, no, no. I'm sure this is what's going to work out for me. And other people are done trying to get them to see life differently. They have free will to live their life whatever way they want. So I just have to realize my emotional fulfillment can't come into reality with people who live their life like that, because they're operating more from defensiveness or ego, and I'm operating from wanting to be in relationships with people who have healed or grown or matured and are ready to be in deep, meaningful relationships based on the truth and justice and fairness. And we go through this process of it being confusing, and we focus on the truth of it. Are people acting in a just and fair manner? Are people, if people love people, how do they treat people? Are these people acting with love? You know, we start to realize that we had illusions that people were more just and fair and balanced and loving, maybe, and that they would want to move forward to be more emotionally independent, to kind of bring the dream into reality. But some people, there's things and people, if we're aligned with our more worldly nature or fearful nature or whatever, we probably have people in our life that we're hanging out with that are happy we live our life like that. And when we're going to move forward in life differently, we have to be willing to become more independent of living our life that way and whatever kind of manipulates us. And then we might have to become more independent of the people in our life that probably won't like it, that we've freed ourselves from some of the things that used to manipulate us. Even if it was just, I used to think this was the way to live life, and now I'm ready to face my fears to go get a new job or go to college, or, just step out of my comfort zone. I want to go, I could even be, I just find it old, and I want to go do other things that, maybe I will go hang out with some other people in my life and more, or I'll go find people who I think seem to be kind of more interested in some of the things that I'm more interested in doing now than I used to be. And the people that we would detach from cannot like it. Why are you doing that? Who do you think you are? Why aren't you hanging out with us anymore? Why aren't you still doing this thing that we're doing? And high vibe energy is just that, we go through these phases of life, like we did age 15 to age 18 to age 21. I'm ready to just do other things and want to experience other things. I want to grow to my full potential. I don't want to maybe keep doing the same thing in my life over and over and over. It doesn't mean you can't have different friend groups that you hang out with, but I'm just ready to do things differently. And when we do that, other people might not like it. And that's why some people aren't willing to move forward in life, because the reason for doing this would be the Eight of Cups, that I've seen the truth, that maybe there are things that are overwhelming. It has gotten emotionally confusing. My intuition and my desire is kind of calling me to love and believe in myself, to step out of my comfort zone, to face the next phase of life and what I could become or something. And it requires that we kind of walk away from maybe some people who are still caught up in the illusion. The Eight of Cups walks away from the Seven of Cups. People who, we all, again, repeat a pattern until we see the truth and we're ready to, we kind of learn the lessons we needed to learn from that phase of life, and we're ready to go to the next phase of life. And some people aren't there yet. And some of the people that we would like to have move forward with us aren't willing to become independent. The Eight of Cups goes to the Nine of Cups, and some people know that. It would require me to maybe become more independent of some people in my life that haven't healed and grown and matured, and they're unwilling to let go of those people. And some philosophy of life maybe around that, like we operate more from our ego, we're being more immature, we're kind of more defensive, we don't we defend our more worldly or shadowy Leo energy than defending our more loving, hopeful, believing Leo energy within ourselves. And some people aren't willing to, if those people aren't all willing to move forward with them, they're not willing to move forward without them. And for some people, that's the illusion they create in a relationship, because shadowy energy is about being codependent in some way. And some people want to be in relationships with people, but they don't want those people to be more emotionally independent either. If I have things and people in my life that manipulate and control me, you can't be independent of those things either. You need to just be strong about the fact that whatever it is and whoever it is that manipulates me, which can just be the world or my ego or my fear or these other people in my life, you have to let those things manipulate you too. We stay here and we watch other people work through their emotional confusion and their fears and their insecurities and their codependencies to see the truth, who decide to love themselves, to not give up on their dreams. But me and the people I hang out with, this is our dream, is to keep living our life like this. Because if we don't live our life like this, we would have to work through the emotional confusion we have about living life differently, and we'd have to deal with the truth. What is it that, have I not learned to love myself? So we're going to keep living our life like this. Um, you know, the shadowy people want to move forward in this energy, maintaining this illusion. I'm happy. And for some, they are happy living their life that way because that's where they're at. And this is their truth. And it could be all about maybe how people harness their Scorpio energy. The Seven of Cups is Scorpio energy. The I view the Queen of Cups as Scorpio energy. Some people don't want to, in their Pisces energy, to kind of make life about listening to your intuition and your creativity and your imagination and the dreams that you had. Let's see. Scorpio is fixed sign energy, which not no yeah fixed sign energy. We can get into a certain pattern and a way of viewing life kind of emotionally that we could have loved, a way we grew up with. This is how we view life, this is how we love life. Pisces is our aspect of ourself that helps us transition out of a phase of life, to have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, to move forward in a new way. And some people reject that because they're still happy living their life the way they live it. And it could be, just this, a way we view life, a way we view love, a way of what we love. And some people You might know some people in your life who you know are kind of more defensive, very motivated by money and materialism and pride and ego, and that's where they derive their sense of worth and value. And they could be, a little more emotionally shallow and superficial. Get in relationships, take action towards people to try to get people in relationships, like using their emotions manipulatively, using their sexuality in a manipulative way. Our emotions and our creativity and our sexuality were all gifts, and our intuition were all gifts that were given to us to become all that we can be, and hoping in our free will we choose love. But some people decided, I don't want to do love. I get hurt doing love. Or I'm more motivated by my ego and my image and money and materialism, or being indulged. And I'm going to use all the gifts I was given, the talents I was given, in a shadowy way to try to manipulate people to do life the way I want to do it. I want to keep being in denial of the truth that it is about being in deep, meaningful relationships, which is high vibe Scorpio energy. And in Sagittarius, that life is an adventure to be lived. And we're emotionally complex human beings because, don't we want to do the roller coaster emotionally of life, of experiencing the highs and the lows, and knowing that everything that we go to invest in isn't going to probably work out the way we wanted, but we believe that we can pick ourselves back up again if things don't work out the way we wanted them to, and that we can heal, and we've learned to love and believe in ourselves, that we can pick ourselves back up to go on another ride of the adventure. And some people did that at some point in time, probably in their life, and then they decided, that's it, I don't want to go on the rides anymore. I'm okay living a more emotionally shallow, superficial life. I could find my own emotions. Our emotions are confusing. We are emotionally complex. And some people could have decided, I don't want to do that anymore. So I kind of give up on my dream of being in deep, meaningful relationships. And maybe part of the reason is they find it too confusing when it doesn't work out the way they want. And then they decide, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to be defensive to being vulnerable anymore. And I'm going to operate from my more defensive, egoic nature. They also could have a very loving nature within them. Needless, the knowledge of the tree of good and evil was planted within all of us. But some people just choose, no, I've decided to make it all about me being indulged from now on. I'm not giving my heart to anyone. I'm just going to indulge myself in relationships. I'll create the illusion that I'm willing to bring the dream into reality, but it's just an illusion. I'm living more from my mind than my heart. I'm mentally strategizing how to get people to be in relationship with me and keep them in relationship with me. And hopefully I'll find someone who's kind of on the same page as me, who wants to move forward, kind of living our life, moving forward, making our life more about indulging someone for wanting to be in a relationship, or for status or image or money. And again, for some of those people, that could be their comfort zone. They could have grew up with people that are more about those things, who are kind of more, live more from their mind than their heart, who are maybe more emotionally shallow and superficial. And they're probably going to be drawn and attracted to wanting to be in relationships with those people, because there's some truth, unhealed issue that they haven't dealt with, that keeps them from, it's like God wants everybody to be free from the things that manipulate them. And when other people that are loving see that these people are manipulated by things, and they find it confusing, and why is this person acting like this, and eventually out of love for themselves, it's like, I wish you peace and love. I hope you find someone who's on the same page as you, but that's not the same page I'm on. I do want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. And you can see where it's kind of unjust and unfair that if someone who is kind of operating from shadow gets someone who's being authentic and vulnerable and loving and isn't operating from their defensive nature, manipulative nature, it's like, great, I get the benefits of someone who's freed themselves to be loving and they stay in a relationship with me. It's an equally unbalanced relationship. You're like over giving and loving, not requiring people treat you the same way you treat them. And I benefit from that because you give to me, because you're motivated and inspired to try to love and encourage people to love and believe in themselves. It's just that eventually you find out the truth that they're not willing to ever bring that dream into reality. So then it's overwhelming for the loving people to keep giving, giving, giving. I want to be in a relationship with someone who treats me the way I treat them. So eventually, then those people leave. And some of these people who are used to being in relationships where people kind of indulge them in whatever their fearful nature, their lazy nature, their bossy nature, their self centered nature, their more materialistic view of life and being consumed by it, or their more immature ways, they can be consumed, like confused, like, why'd that person leave? Yes, Scorpio and the Queen of Cups can talk about there was mutual love there, but some people don't get it. If you're someone who thinks, the truth would set people free, but they don't even maybe see it. Oh, am I kind of thinking the scales should be tipped in my favor? And for some people, they don't want to see the truth of that because then they'd have to quit indulging themselves in being in denial in their ego that they do like the scales kind of tipped in their favor. And some people don't want to see the truth. Well, that would mean I'd have to quit being indulged in my ego. I think I'll just keep staying in denial of the truth, keep moving forward with this illusion that everything's wonderful, and try to find someone else to indulge me in that illusion. Whatever it is. Oh, I'm lazy. Well, the people who are lazy in the world, if they get in relationships with people who put in a lot of work and effort, that can last for a while until the people who put in work and effort realize if it's a job that they should fire their ass, or they should leave the friendship or relationship. If people are competitive, petty, immature, so long as people keep indulging them in being that way of being, then they don't have to change. And then when they have people leave or they get fired, they can still stay in denial of the truth of why people left or why they got fired. People have to want to see the truth, and some people don't want to see the truth. I think high vibe people have gotten out of some workplaces, friendships, and relationships with people who are like that. And they're done trying to work with people who aren't on the same page as them. No longer going to indulge prideful people because they've tempered their own ego to get more balance within themselves. Like, why did I enable people who are like that? I mean, why didn't I, we can know people and not get in relationships with them. We can have social acquaintances, but am I going to hang out with you all the time? I'm really looking for someone who's more on the same page as me, and I find you kind of bossy or manipulative or egotistical or self-centered or lazy or whatever. I'm going to keep believing in my dreams, because if I keep investing my time, energy, and effort into people who aren't on the same page as me, that means I'm not investing my time, energy, and effort into people who are. And, I'm going to invest my time, energy, and effort into, I can invest my time, energy, and effort into a lot of creative, inspired projects or my job or things that motivate and inspire me that I find enjoyable, versus spending my time and energy maybe with some people that I don't really click with or find that they kind of have some shadowy traits or characteristics. I can have a lot of things I can heal from, you know, but I want to find the people in the world who do see through the illusion of what they think is just and fair versus what I think is just and fair, and everybody has their ideas of what is just and fair. The high vibe people want to be in emotionally fulfilling, deep, meaningful relationships with people who have healed, who have done the work to get balance within themselves, who treat other people the way they like to be treated and act with character and integrity. You know? What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy? The Knight of Cups, because of the Justice card. In Pisces energy of the Knight of Cups, you're taking action in the world, listening to love and intuition to guide your decisions. Because, for one, you did the work. The Four of Swords is Libra energy. The Justice card is Libra energy. You invested in loving yourself to see through the illusion and how there are people in the world that try to get you to indulge them in some shadowy ways of being. And you did this work to heal and see through the illusion. People who are just and fair and balanced and motivated and inspired by love offer love to be just and fair and bring justice to a situation. And the people who don't want to have to be just and fair don't offer love. They keep, maybe shadowy energy can be about trying to, and shadowy Leo is about trying to manipulate people to get them to do what you want. No, I'm going to do all these things to try to manipulate you and confuse you. I don't think, we can tend to think other people are like us, right? That they would make the same decisions we make. Some of these people, they never become more independent and love themselves to keep believing in themselves, to become independent of the things and people in their life that manipulate them. So they could have thought if they acted this way that you wouldn't walk away. But you did. And some of those people now are watching some of the high vibe people walk away. It's like, shit, they did it. They work through all the complex emotions, because they could have complex emotions too with people in their life. I'd really like to not hang out with these people anymore, but like they're my family or I love them. I'd like, we can go have all these complex thoughts and feelings, but the whole thing is people should respect, in the Eight of Cups going to the Nine of Cups, that we have our own things in life that we find emotionally fulfilling, that not everybody in our friend group, in our family, that we're in romantic relationships with find emotionally fulfilling. And part of that can just be being more independent. We could definitely know some people who like everybody to be more codependent, everybody to operate from their ego, everybody be manipulated by the world, everybody make their life about money or materialism or indulgence. And other people are like, if that's how you want to live your life, live it that way. But I think there's more to the world than just indulging ourselves in those things of the world. And I want my divine inheritance, which is, because we're emotionally complex human beings, I want to explore the mysteries of life. I want to be free to be my authentic self in the world, independent of my shadow nature. And that's why some people don't want to come with, because they're still manipulated by whatever manipulates them, their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, their defensive nature. And they're not more emotionally independent. And they haven't learned to fill their own cup. They're still looking to other people for their sense of emotional well-being or emotional stability. And the high vibe people are balanced within themselves, and some of the other people are unbalanced within themselves. And you're moving forward to get the justice you deserve. And just like you're doing that within your life, there's other people in the world doing that in their life. And I think as you move forward, you will get the justice you deserve, because you're no longer indulging people in this illusion where they don't have to be just and fair and act with character and integrity. And other people, I think you're going to meet other people that are on the same page as you. Other people are going to want to invest in you because they see that you're that type of person and you see they're that type of person. And I think the high vibe people are going to get the justice they deserve, being in deep, meaningful, just, and fair relationships. Odds are the shadowy people will keep moving forward in their more caught up in whatever it is that the cycle of life that they're enjoying right now, which is just a cycle of life you've kind of outgrown, and you're ready for something new, and they're not. And they're going to keep probably enjoying living their life that way. You just find it a little more emotionally shallow and superficial. They might find it emotionally shallow and superficial too, but they love it. It's their truth, it's how they want to live their life. What's coming up for the people who harness a little more shallow or worldly, shadowy Cancer energy? So people who kind of more emotionally manipulated by their feelings, and then other people can emotionally manipulate them and their feelings versus having learned to love themselves. What they don't see coming is the Nine of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Judgment card. Well, for one, I don't think they expected that some people in their life would work through all their many conflicting thoughts to complete a cycle. From the 9 down to the 4, it's like this Ace of Pentacles represents the 5 of Swords, which 5 of Swords can be our mental conflict that we have because we had people in our life, or a job that we had, or a friend that we thought we were going to move forward and have a dream come into reality, because the 5 of Swords is Aquarius energy, about a dream. But then we realize that what we think is just and fair, and the dreams that we're motivated and inspired to pursue, are different. And it's seeing the truth of it. What they're motivated and inspired by, and their idea of the dream life, or how people operate or function in a dream relationship, to them it could be where people, indulge them in their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, living a more materialistic life, and you just realize that's not your dream. And you're calling judgment to make a final decision. I've healed. I'm ready to move forward and have a new beginning with people who are on the same page as me. And for the people who want to live their life that other way, that's fine. They can keep living their life that way and investing in that, but that's just not what I want to keep investing in. And for some of them, they could be surprised about that. For some, again, they might be a little prideful, egotistical. They might have a lot of these things of the world, status, image, power, or they're attractive, or they're charming, or they got social clout, or whatever they got, that they would think that people would really want to stay in a relationship with them. And they could be really surprised that people are healing, that people loved and believed in themselves, that people did this work within themselves to get balance within themselves and work through. Because we can all stay in situations because for a long time we didn't want to see the truth, and we can keep putting in all this work and effort to make a relationship work or a workplace work, because it's kind of like us wanting to stay in denial of the truth. Because if we see the truth, just like the other people, if they were to see the truth, they'd have to quit living life the way they've been living it, and then we can stay in it for a long time because we also don't want to walk away. But eventually someone does walk away. And for some people, you've already done that. For other people, they're just doing it now. And some people could be really surprised that someone is calling judgment on them and they're walking away to go invest in the people they really think they can get a just and fair relationship with, and not going to indulge someone who's kind of operating from their ego. I have offered you love and encouragement and been just and fair, and you keep refusing to do the just and fair thing. Peace. I hope it works out for you. I'm leaving. And what they might not see coming is there's always people who are on the same page as other people. And there might be someone who does want to make some of these people who are in their more worldly, shadowy way of living life, because that's how they live life. You and me are on the same page. I have a lot of stress about, seeing the truth. I might have some healing, some growing, some maturing to do. I need to temper some of my fears and insecurities, and I could heal, but I haven't. I'm stressed about doing that and living my life differently. So I've decided I want to be in a relationship with you because we're on the same page, you know? And, it's if people have found that, well, and it could be some people are going to repeat a pattern. If someone is more ego driven, or if they can find someone who's more into being more superficial and shallow and make their life being motivated and inspired by ego and image and worldly justice, then they found the person for them. And it might be, for some people, they're still defensive and overwhelmed. They could feel like the people that were really loving and nurturing in their life, they would have liked to maybe have stayed in that relationship, but those people weren't willing to indulge them anymore. So now they're kind of settling for kind of being in a relationship with someone who's like themselves, and they're just creating the illusion they've healed and they've moved on. But it's kind of like someone who's like immature would like people to keep them employed at a job and paying them all this big bucks, and people are firing them, and then they go get a different job trying to make it seem like they've moved on and this is just as good, but it might not quite, you know had the abundance and the stability and all the things that when they had an opportunity to temper their ego and grow up, they weren't willing to do it. So I kind of think if you look at life as a video game that you go up, they went down a level. And there's going to be people who are on that same page of life as they are. It just won't be. It's kind of like minor arcana of the justice card of the Four of Swords versus major arcana of the justice card. And again, that could mean some people are more settling for living their life that appears by worldly standards that they have gotten the things that people in the world want. I just think it is kind of more of the illusion of love, because these are people who haven't learned to really get out of their ego, so they are operating more out of fear or insecurity or codependency or something. The other people really have freed themselves, and they are in an emotionally balanced, loving relationship because they both learn to love themselves and believe in themselves and maintain balance within themselves, and no one is trying to get the other person to tip the scales in their favor. But here it could go back and forth, and they could kind of rotate of who's got the scales tipped in their favor, or one person is kind of indulging another person. So there you go, Cancer energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.